Since the day I've been interested in four-wheel drives, few vehicle launches have attracted more press attention than the 2020 Land Rover Defender. And I watched them all, read them all, made my own. And never before has there been such universal disappointment in a new model. Time to drive it. And the disappointment continues despite the fact that the new Defender has proved itself better than ever off-road. So then, why is it that so many traditional Defender owners are bitterly disappointed in the new Defender? It can't be because of its performance. It can't be because it's not good off-road. I'm not about to say things like, it's not like the old Defender. That's been said 1,000 times and is absolutely obvious to everybody. What I'm going to talk about is what this vehicle is. But this is not a review. There are plenty of those to go around on YouTube, and the one I'd recommend, if you want to go off-road in your Defender, is Ronnie Dahl's.
I do feel a little bit uneasy though, because I'm not used to wheels slipping. So this thing is doing its own thing, so I just have to get used to it.
What is the new Defender?
How do you redefine an icon? Push harder.
I mean, really.
Dig deeper.
Get rid of all the hype.
Then, you reimagine it. You design, engineer, and build it without compromise.
Without compromise? What a meaningless load of advertising hype. Of course it's compromised. Ronnie Dahl, here he is talking about wheel sizes. The fact that it has got 20-inch wheels and that the smallest wheel rim you can put on it is an 18-inch means it's compromised. To say it's not is just nonsense. As buyers, we need to understand who it's compromised towards or against. And to do that, you watch YouTube. You seek out the YouTubers that you are confident are not being bought by the manufacturers. I have 3 examples of YouTubers that I think have done a good job with reviewing this, and I know 2 of them, the American guys.
And this is a 2-liter. Hey, that is plenty powerful, dude.
And of course here, Ronnie Dahl. These people are independent and they are not bought by anybody. So you're getting unbiased, uncluttered, unfettered reportage. I made this prediction. I predict that the new Defender will be amongst the very best off-road vehicles off the shelf that money can buy. And I'm right.
Using that active rear and centre differentials, wheel spin, other than the odd slip and scrape on a rock step, was virtually undetectable.
In fact, Car Advice here in Australia think that's even better off-road than the Jeep Rubicon. I find that very difficult to believe, particularly since when I compare Ronnie's take on its off-road performance, which I think is very balanced indeed. I think if I was with him on that thing, I would probably be agreeing with him on almost everything. Nevertheless, even if they were biased towards the Defender, it's impressive off-road. It is.
The way to drive this Defender is to choose a line to limit bottoming out, and with a steady, even throttle, let it do the hard work.
Because Land Rover terrain response is phenomenally good. I myself have proven how good the terrain response system is.
Go, 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 go. Stop, stop, stop.
And the reviews, every single one of them, are praising its off-road ability. Great.
Before today, I would have never have said that a luxury 4-wheel drive could have done this.
But here's a question. Does great off-road ability alone make a good off-roader? I say it does not. So you go to your Land Rover dealership And you jump in and you drive it around the block and you get a feel for the new Defender. And what are you going to learn? Instead, what this vehicle deserves is to be compared with vehicles with a similar price tag and a similar customer in mind. So let's compare it to a Land Cruiser 200. This is as good, I think, as a top spec Land Cruiser 200 in terms of the feel on the road, the ride on the road, the quality of the seating. And you're going to learn that it has very, very nice seats. It's a nice airy cabin. The packing space is quite good. You've read a bit about the specifications. It's got a good payload. Those are my first impressions. I haven't had the vehicle for a long time, but those are my first impressions. The brakes are oversensitive, but you figure you'll get used to them. But there is something about this vehicle that leaves all of the others in its dust. Actually, that's a bad, no, it won't, I can't say in its dust because I imagine this thing is probably very dustproof. I drove the 2-litre and surprisingly powerful for a 2-litre. I almost compared it to the old Defender there. I must not do that. We've been driving and I said to Kate, who's got the camera, I said to her, this is impressive. And her reaction was, are you surprised? And the answer is, yeah, I am surprised. And I shouldn't be, but I am surprised because I think I am suffering what so many Defender owners suffer, and that is they like the fact that this vehicle makes a lot of noise and rattles around and it has this character and is quite uncomfortable. This is very refined. And what was I expecting? Surely I wasn't expecting a noisy, rattly, awful ride. That's ridiculous. The ride reminds me very much of Land Rover Discovery 4, which ride was very, very good. And what have you learnt about the vehicle? You've learnt that it's nice to drive around town. You've learnt nothing else. You haven't learnt what you need to learn to understand what you're actually buying. You're not buying an off-roader. You're buying a car that is nice in town and it also is very good off-road. There are a lot of those available and this is going to be one of the better ones. But as a pure off-roader, it scores very low marks. And here's why. Any off-road vehicle, let's think about what vehicles are the best off-road vehicles we can think of. The Jeep Wrangler series, Land Cruiser 70 series, the old Defender, even the old Discoveries. And there are lots of them. And all of these vehicles have one thing in common that make them great. And that is there is equipment to adapt, change, modify, and make them better off-road, more suitable off-road. For example, let's think of something basic. A winch. Can you fit a winch to a Defender? Let me hand you over briefly to TFL Studios and Fast Lane Car YouTube channel. Their story of their Defender can scarcely be believed.
Yeah, it was everything that we wanted, and if you've been following the story, you know what happened next. But before we get to that, we had an editorial plan in place, and that plan was basically to create a video series called To Hell and Back. We're not that far from Moab, and the idea was let's outfit one out as off-road possible, and what we'll do is we'll get it, we'll put bigger tires on it, you know, because it doesn't come with...
I was very excited about this project. What a great way to show off the new Defender's abilities. And it is doing just that, and I'm sure not in the way that many people thought it would.
So we got the check engine light, and of course it had 167 miles at that point. We drove it right back to the dealership.
They looked at to try to fix the check engine light.
And this is where the story gets really interesting, Tommy, because like I say, you couldn't write this stuff. So this is not the dealer anymore. Now this is the corporation.
And the engineers.
And the engineers.
Yep.
Basically, the problem is there was something deep in the engine where the engine was working outside of its parameters. They've been really great, right? JLR has been very communicative.
The problem with the engine
was not repairable.
Yeah, so they said it needs a new engine.
Yeah.
So to cut a very long and very interesting story short, they were offered another vehicle, but it didn't have the winch that they had specified, so the winch had to be fitted.
But here's where it gets really interesting. We got a phone call, phone call last night.
Friday night.
Saying basically, like I said, we couldn't make this up. Saying basically when they installed the winch, they had cut through a harness in the vehicle, and that harness was not replaceable, and the vehicle was not deliverable. Basically, they couldn't give us the vehicle because the harness, I guess, killed it.
Well, they said irreplaceable.
Well, you couldn't fix it, and they couldn't replace the harness.
Right, so the blue one now is not an option.
No. So right now we are working with JLR to secure a third vehicle.
So if the dealers themselves can't fit a winch without wrecking the car, how do you think the TJM stores or the ARB stores or your local four-wheel drive store is going to react when you pop in and say, please fit me a winch or a bull bar or some rock sliders or anything? I wonder if I bought a Defender, could I have a winch fitted to it? Maybe a bull bar? I'm going to try and experiment here. This is unrehearsed. I'm going to call Sean. He's one of the managers at my local ARB store. And I'm going to call him to see if he can help me. Sean, I haven't, but let's pretend I have just taken delivery of a new Defender. Question.
Yes.
Can you fit me a bull bar and winch?
No.
Why not?
There's nothing released as of yet.
Is our ARB working on bull bars, etc.?
Not that I can comment on at the moment, no.
Okay, so you're unclear whether that... Normally, if you had a new vehicle released, would you... I imagine ARB would be on top of it and would be ready with products pretty soon after a new vehicle's release. Is that a fair comment?
That's a fair comment. We try to be above everyone else and get stuck into it.
Okay, but you have nothing for Defender at this moment?
Not at this stage, no.
Okay, right, thank you, Sean, that helps me. Have you been following the TFL Now and Fast Car Lane channels and their story on the new Defender?
Yes.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So they fitted a winch and managed to cut through a wiring loom. You don't cut through wiring looms when you fit winches, do you?
We try not to. I don't think I can recall a time that we've done such a thing, but stranger things have happened out there in the big wide world.
Fair enough, but why on earth would you cut a wiring loom to fit a winch? Okay, this has gone a little bit beyond me because I cannot imagine why you would do that. But anyway, the story is amazing, and our conclusions have to be, well, then fitting accessories to a Defender is going to be tough because a winch is a pretty basic thing you need for an off-road vehicle. And if you can't fit a winch easily, then how good is this as an off-road vehicle? That's really my contention.
Yeah.
And what about trust? As an overland tourer, trust is always top priority. Would you trust a vehicle that is so electronic? I mean, we have to deal with electronics in cars. But here you've got two things against you. You've got a lot of electronics. A lot. And it's a Land Rover. Land Rovers are hopeless in terms of their reliability. And I know if you're a Land Rover fan, you'll be going, they plain are. It's a worldwide reputation. In fact, and this is very sad, Land Rover has become a bit of a laughingstock. And this latest story isn't helping. In Land Rover's defense, being in the shop and on a lift technically qualifies as off-road. Hell and back. Land Rover ownership. Off-road. Basically, you will spend most of the time off the road in the dealership. It is impressive, and I've only been with the vehicle for an hour. And what am I liking the most about it? I'll show you. And it's the interior. It is... God, it's nice. It's fantastic. fantastic interior. I love, for example, the fact that you can put stuff there and there and there and there and there, and I'm sure this opens as well, and there, and it's just full of places where you can put things, which is so important when you're on a long trip. The seats, these are half leather, half what feels like canvas. They look so good. Let's have a look and see what the leg room is like. Good grab handles, very good. Good leg room, yes, actually quite good. And again, attention to detail. In the front here, there's an angle underneath the seat, which means that back seat passengers their feet are not at this angle. They're actually at a more comfortable natural angle. That's good. And of course, the test. How good is the middle seat? It's not much worse than the side seats. Give it quite good marks. You're still going to get complaints from the little one sitting in the middle, but it's not bad. It's not like a block of wood that is put into some vehicles that advertise as 5-seaters when they in fact are only 4-seaters. All modern cars are annoying, let's face it, by beeping at you all of the time. So far, with the Defender, the only beep that it makes is when the door is open and the keys are still inside. And also the bing isn't very annoying. It's like a low chord on a piano. And it stops after a while. Thank you. The driving position is a little bit of a disappointment to me. One of the things that I absolutely loved about the Discovery, early Range Rovers, even the LR3 and 4, was the quite high driving position. This is not as high. There was something about that commanding field of view and the sense of air in the cabin, particularly of the Land Rover Discovery 4. I'm not getting quite that with the Defender. But here's a little perspective on owning a Land Rover, and I have to slap myself around the face because it's a very appealing vehicle in very many ways. But what about owning it? Now, few people will contradict me when I say that a Land Rover product, even an old one and a new one, become very expensive to run when they pass 150, 160, 180,000 kilometers. By the time they get to that point, they start becoming expensive to run. And Land Rover owners might say, that's the same with any vehicle. No, it's not. It's just plain not. Okay? Land Rovers are expensive to run because they become troublesome at that mileage, and particularly the newer ones, the ones where repairing it yourself becomes more and more difficult. The more complicated the vehicle becomes, the more electronic the vehicle becomes, you have to send them off to the dealer to get fixed. And when the vehicles pass middle age, they become very demanding on one's wallet, because to keep them running and to keep them reliable for trips is cost prohibitive. And so, I mean, this is why anywhere in the world, old, when I say old, they're not that old. They're 10 years old. And they've got 200,000 kilometers on them. Land Rovers go for nothing. You'll pay 3 times the price for an equivalent Japanese car. It's because of the cost of ownership. You might as well buy a new one and put up with the car payments, because you're going to be paying close to that anyway, maintaining an oldish new Range Rover. I won't be buying myself a Defender. And as much as I am impressed with the vehicle, no. I don't want that headache. I know I don't keep vehicles for very long, but if the resale value of the vehicle is poor, then you have to keep it for long to make it affordable, until eventually becomes untenable to keep because it's just so expensive, and then you sell it for hardly anything. That's the Land Rover way. But do you know why so many old Defender owners are so bitterly disappointed in this vehicle? It's that the early Defender had this kind of it crossed class lines. It looked equally at home in the back of a shed with a guy doing welding, and you know, the car kind of had this kind of class. It was classy to have a Defender instead of maybe an old Hilux or a Isuzu. You know, and even the middle class, you know, in the driveway, people would notice a line of streets and a whole lot of cars in there, and there's a Defender. It looks cool, and that people notice it because they have a little spark about them. And even the landed gentry shooting grace on the fields of Eastmoor Castle. All of the gentry driving in their Range Rovers, and one of them arrives in his Defender, and I don't know if he'll be noticed, but he certainly wouldn't be looked down on because he's driving the Defender, because he prefers the Defender. He prefers mucking it out with his gun dogs than his Range Rover or Discovery. It played equally right through the classes. And one of the reasons why it played equally through the classes is that it was affordable. It was an affordable car. Anybody who, you know, talks about, you know, the Defender being affordable, what? It's not it's a luxury car. At that price range, it's a luxury car. Don't call it affordable. It's not affordable. Jeep Wrangler's affordable if you want to buy a new four-wheel drive that's got really good off-road performance. You might say, I don't remember Jeep if you don't like Jeeps. Well, it is what it is. It's an inexpensive, highly adaptable, damn good off-road four-wheel drive plaything. It has many serious downfalls, but then all of them do in a way. It depends what your priorities are, and it depends what your goal is when buying a four-wheel drive. And if your goal is to go off-road, the Defender 2020, it's unsuitable. It's unsuitable for the true off-roader.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe and click the notifications bell so you don't miss our weekly videos.